At NTV, Steven Imbido Fefe Swechbugan, right now at Mengo Primary School. This is in Lubaga Division. Behind me are the pupils of this school. They are just in an activity that is called the physical education, PE, as we used to call it while we are in school. Now they are being taken through some drills, and this is also good for their health. The instructor is, of course, leading them, and this is also good to improve their body, keep the bodies in shape. But today we're going to be talking about managing the respiratory diseases in schools, because we know for the last 3 weeks and so we've seen many youngsters having coughs and flus. Many are still now bedridden in hospitals, others are still at home, while others are in school. The nurses and the teachers are trying to manage these coughs and colds. Let me begin with these ones who are ready for me to give me the experiences. I can see Assistant Head Girl. What's your name?
My name is Natumanya Elizabeth.
Good morning, Elizabeth.
Morning.
It's now 2 months and some days after the schools resumed. What has been your experience so far after the schools were reopened? How are you able to catch up with the studies after lockdown?
Our teachers have been training us, especially us who stay near the school. We come for preps, for morning preps and the evening preps. For those ones who have been coughing, go to the nurse, and our teachers and the head teachers have been also advising them to put on their masks.
So have you yourself, have you gotten the cough?
Yes, I've gotten the cough, and the teacher advised those who get cough to stay at home until they are okay.
Okay, you can also come closer and also tell me your experience. What's your name?
My name is Tracy.
Tracy, do you have a cough? Have you had a cough before?
Yes, I have had it. My mother told me that always when I am at school, I put on my mask. When I go back at home, she tells me that you get a lemon, hot water, and garlic, even ginger, and you mix them, then you drink.
Okay. You too, you can also come and tell me. This is the head girl of Mengo Primary School. Congratulations.
Thank you.
How were you able to beat other pupils to be the head girl?
First of all, my name is Akulu Masi. I'm now the head girl of Mengo Primary School. The first thing, I didn't have faith to be a head girl, but because of my teachers and other students, they saw me that I'm a person with integrity. I'm a person who can be a head girl of Mengo Primary School. They decided to raise me up. So that's how I became to be a head girl.
Okay, have you gotten a cough? You know there are so many, for you are in school, the pupils are out in the hospitals, others at home. They are struggling with the cough. Have you been able, have you gotten the cough before, or you are not yet, you're still free?
For me, I had a cough.
What did you do?
What I did, I came to school with my cough, and our teachers, mostly our administrator, told us to put on our mask. Even they get a list and write those pupils who have cough, and the list they take it to the nurse, and they tell the children to go to the nurse and get the treatment.
Okay. Thank you so much, the head girl of Mengo Primary School. Let me first of all speak to the instructor of these youngsters. I've seen you taking them through some drills, and this is also good for their health. Good morning to you.
Good morning, sir.
And thank you for shaping the youngsters, the future Kipro teachers of this nation, who will be shining and, of course, making Uganda proud.
It is my pleasure.
And these days we see many youngsters having coughs and flus. This is one activity that can also help our bodies to be in shape and be fit. What exactly are you taking them through, and what are you telling them about this, keeping their bodies in shape?
COVID being a killer disease, we know very well that if it finds your body when it is shaky, it can easily take you. So we always have such sessions. We come, do some physical exercises, and we find that our bodies are resistant to any disease, not only COVID, but any disease that comes when you've been exercising. The body is always has that immunity to fight the disease.
And also
but
the coughs.
and the coughs. But besides that, this is one of the programs in schools the program of the co-curricular activities, that every term has a co-curricular activity that is done. First term we always have athletics. Second term we have ball games. Ball games consist of football, netball, handball, rugby, volleyball, to mention but a few. And then third term is music. So being a first term, we are trying to train as we are training to fight the disease, to make our bodies immune. So we are also training to prepare ourselves for the cultural activities that is to take place this time.
Thank you so much. The name is?
Lubega Robert, the games teacher.
Thank you so much, Mr. Lubega Wengavi. Yeah? Okay, let me also speak to another pupil here at the Mengo Primary School. What is your name?
Nachimugwe Annette.
You know, these days there is a program, or there is a call to help young ones who are learners like you to have mobile phones at school, so that you can use them as maybe for revision, maybe for some work, for some research. Do you think this is good to have mobile phones being used by pupils and students?
Yes, it's good because we get some work on Google, and some work at our teacher don't give us. At Google's, you can search and you get that work. It's good.
Have you gotten a cough before during this time when you were at school?
No.
How have you been able to guard yourself against this cough?
I go to the hospital. She gave us like some vitamins, mangada, katungrishu, and some water.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, thank you so much. The name is?
Nachimugwe Annette.
Okay, Nachimugwe. I will also come to the games and sports prefect later on, but first of all, let me speak to the deputy head teacher, Mr. Stephen Mukisa. This school has been here for the last 125 years.
Yes.
That's a wonderful achievement.
Yeah, it is wonderful. This is one of the oldest standing schools in the country, and we have managed to put it up to this date. Yeah.
These days, there are so many learners in different secondary and primary schools who are having cough and flu, these respiratory diseases. Have you gotten such experiences here, which is so unfortunate?
They are quite numerous, and because the condition is that we just try to manage what we can. We have tried as much as possible to give the little first aid that we can, and then we advise the same children to go home to their parents so that they can get better treatment. Some are advised to go to the hospitals, and others would use the herbals and things of that nature so that they get better.
Mr. Mukisa, when you say numerous cases, let's take it on a daily. What is the scale like?
On a daily basis, you can have like 15 to 20 children having those coughs. And remember, they are in a very big community. They will come, and in a way, they will end up also infecting, say, the teachers, the rest of the staff. And here we have to take measures. I try to identify them, get them out, and send them to the sick bay where they get that little first aid, and then we send them to their parents. Then with the staff and the rest of the teachers, we also try to manage. Those that are very serious are sent to Mengo Hospital, our neighbors here, and they get the treatment.
At first, weren't you scared as a school because you had just reopened just 2 months into the reopening of the schools? We are just coming out of lockdown where people were scared maybe to take their children back to school. Weren't you scared maybe that this could have been COVID? Good enough, the minister came out and clarified that this is not COVID.
Sure, before the clarification, it was a real scare, and we knew we were going back to lockdown. But when the ministry clarified and said it was something that we could manage, we did all our best to try and manage whatever came up. And I know we are trying to manage the hard way. There are a lot of challenges that we go through. Some of the parents really don't want to stay with their children. So when you send the child back and say, please take care of the child, the parent wouldn't wish to have the child, and you'll see the child coming the next day. So we continue to try and give all that we can, because we still need the children as our customers. Without them, we are not there.
You know, away from these coughs and flus, it's just 2 months and a few days after the schools are reopened. What has been the experience so far for you as Mengo Primary School? Because many were still skeptical about bringing back the children's schools, and others were saying that how will they be able to cope up? What your experience like these past 2 months?
Yeah, the coming of the children has not been a very easy moment. Some really wish to be in school, but then there are those others that don't wish to be in school. But with the psychosocial support that we have provided, very many have had to change their minds. Even those that really wouldn't wish to be in school because of the trades that they had gone into during the other period of lockdown have chosen now to get back to school, and they are moving on. The numbers are very big every other time, and a lot of challenges. You need to feed them, you need ABCD. We have been having challenges of water supplies. There's a period when we had very low pressure of water in the school, and what would happen is that you have the big numbers in the school, the toilets require water, but you have very little water, and you have to look all around to make sure there is water. They have to feed and all that.
Maybe finally for you is there is a policy and a program that is being at least being brought up by government. They are trying to say that let's have mobile phones and laptops being used in schools. During the lockdown, this was the way to go, trying to use technology. And now the issue of regulation is key, and many people are concerned that how will mobile phones be given to learners, pupils and secondary school students? If this thing is to be effected well, what would be your view about it, your perspective, what should be done to make sure that yes, the learners can use them or they shouldn't use them?
These programs are very good. They are good innovations, but then sometimes they come when the preparedness is very little. There's a lot to do in order to have some of these things happen. The training of those to use the gadgets is very paramount, but even the prevalence of the gadgets themselves. Here we are talking about the parents having smartphones, for instance, where the children can access this information from. There are not very many parents that can afford this, especially from a public setting, like a public school like this one. The nature of parents that we have are those that would stretch to have only capability for communication and that kind of thing. But then here we have to have the program implemented. So at times we think there is need to have preparations done early in time, and the consultations into the stakeholders done, so that we really see. The programs are very good, but then how do they move on is the problem.
Thank you so much. My namesake Stephen Mukisa, the Deputy Head Teacher.
I want to thank Mr. Walusimbi for having hosted me, Stephen Mbides. So, thank you so much for coming, and we are very grateful. We appreciate the services that you put, because as partners in education, you help us promote education to wider circles. Thank you so much.
Thank you too.
Thank NTV for being with us.
Thank you so much. As I let you go, let me speak to the last two pupils here to give them the experiences about catching up with studies these last 2 months. The Games and Sports Prefect here. Good morning, what's your name?
Good morning, my name is Bitisho Irene, and I'm the Games and Sport Prefect. I'm in charge of these things here.
Okikola otya?
Bulungi. Olina okubeera ng'olina confident, ng'olinamu trust nti osobola okuwangula.
Abaana bala bakubirize kiki obagamba abagala okubeera mu mizannyo nga gino, what should they be doing in other schools?
They should trust themselves.
Thank you so much. And you finally, I think I spoke to you.
My name is Natume Bashir. I'm in P7.
Oh, how are you ready for your final exams? You were interrupted by the lockdown. What do you do?
I was learning.
Have you got any cough in this term? What would you tell your fellow learners out there, maybe those in your in this school who are also preparing for their end of year exams?
They should read hard.
Okay. Thank you so much. Let me let you go back to class and other co-curricular activities. This is Stephen Imbido Fefeswe Chivuga. Been here at the Mengo Primary School where these learners have told me how ready they are to catch up with their studies as they move on with their studies this term, that is the first after lockdown, and of course how they are managing the coughs and flus for those who have been able to go through them, and others who are just there in co-curricular activities, how they are doing it and how they are trying to shape the future. Now handing you back to studio for more.